Hello, everybody. What's going on? You're overloaded with texts, phone calls, emails, and chat. I know. And you're behind the wheel at the same time. So, what if your various forms of communication were somehow connected, allowing you to simplify and move and share and reply to information real time in a safe manner? Eric Rodriguez and David Ray Jr. will share how Vendorflow wants to help you simplify your mobile communications management. So please say hello in the live chat, ask your questions, share your thoughts, and learn from the best on ATI Auto Business. What's up, ecosystem? Welcome back to Industry Logistics on ATI Auto Business, where everyone learns more about the automotive industry. We are talking to Vendorflow today. Do me a favor, welcome my co-host.
This one's out of Fort Myers.
Sue.
Hey.
Can you see me and hear me okay?
I can.
All right. You know, we got a lot. I guess I'm just going to jump right in. We got Vendorflow today.
Okay.
This is a complicated topic. But listen, before you jump off, I know you're like, oh no. Hey, so I know your communications are complicated. Mine are complicated. How many emails do you have right now that you can't get to? A bunch. I know I do. And I send myself emails as reminders because I don't even know where to put it. I get text messages. I have a text right now. I've got to reply to Daniel in dispatch. Got to get back to him. So that's email and text. Terry said he called me and I didn't even know it. So I got email, text, phone. Everything's backing up and I can't get to everything. What if I'm driving a truck? I'm hosed. Okay?
Right.
All right. So there it is. That's what we're talking about today. Can Vendorflow do it? We're going to talk to them. They talk about, and they work on this. David Ray Jr., who you know is also a logistics tech consultant, he's working with Eric on this, and we're going to learn more about Vendorflow. They were here once before, and Eric is a real person. He's not even AI. They have communication models and patterns and collaboration. I mean, they're looking into this stuff. We're the ecosystem's neutral zone, so we're perfect to talk about all these things. And we have the longest running track record of consistent media in the space. Okay. So, we know you're looking at your phone. We know you got a million apps. And those are just driver vehicle inspection apps. Then you got everything else. And Slack and Teams and ELD and everything else. So we're here to talk about it. This is your learning channel. We're like the History Channel, but it's auto transport. Trucking has a communication problem. You think? The problem, teams struggle to stay organized and texting is not structured or integrated. The opportunity, a shared inbox, driver safety, and more integration. I'm telling you, look at, is anybody else working on this much in the laboratory? Vendorflow is working. By the way, what happened to your hair? So I was at Gotham City, and I was in this chemical accident, and you should see the other guy.
600 to 700.
All right, Joker in theaters right now. Okay.
Yeah,
Tuesday nights. You may or may not have known. It's all good. Tuesday nights, I do my automotive ecosystem show. Yeah, that show. You got? Oh, you're still doing it, Jay? Yep, still doing it. Actually, it's really hard to, because I don't talk about the weather and avocados and all that cool stuff, and I'm not in any private clubs. So we actually have a show where we talk about information. And on the Core AI Dealership OS show, this sounds like another snooze about dealers or whatever. Oh my God, these guys, we talked about AI. Mm-hmm. The stream actually broke, and there's a part 2.
Free.
It's awesome.
And your buyer number.
We started talking about...
Okay.
Anyways, I don't want to bore everybody with how cool AI is, but anyways. Okay, and we also have news. You know, Mark was pointing out, if you don't watch the news on Tuesday nights, I mean, you don't have to, but if you miss, if you're not able to keep up with the news because there's hurricanes and you have kids and, you know, all that other stuff, 15 minutes of news on ATI on Tuesday nights. It's the first 15 minutes of the show. All right, Industry Logistics is our Thursday show. Here we are with our AI. We did this show last Thursday, Instabook.
Mm-hmm. And
We already lost
one.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yep,
Man,
it's all our fault.
I think fraud is going to kill Instabook.
It is.
You know, just like video killed the radio star.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. There's no video, though. This program may contain opinions, actual
Okay,
news, and
all right,
upsetting
sounds good.
truth. I guess you're going to
Nope,
find out if
I'm
you're a
looking.
snowflake or not if you keep
But they're
watching.
just starting recovery, so it might be one more day.
Show me the truck. Oh,
I'm
no,
trying.
Sue. You want to see some
Okay.
videos?
Yes, you got a good one?
Ah,
What does that mean? No?
they're all different.
Oh, okay.
Let's just give it a try. Okay, this one has no sound.
No.
Oh, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. Guy's pumping his gas. I think it's a Costco. It's all good. Now, watch the guy's reaction. Is this real or is this... What is this video? Watch the guy's reaction. Wait, didn't he just notice somebody got into his car?
Apparently not, did he?
And how... Oh, there goes my car.
What just
What's up with
happened?
that?
What?
Is this real? What? I don't... Let's watch it
That's
again.
Insane.
But now that... I mean, I can see that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. That car to the side,
Yeah.
is that
that's
the
where he
car?
came-
Is that where he
that's
got
came
out of?
out of, yeah. And here
Okay.
they're gonna go together.
Wow.
Now, the purpose of this video is to demonstrate this would be an easy scam to pull off at a Costco.
Well, yeah.
So if you're parked on the outside lane when you get gas, don't be that guy.
Wick.
Because that guy literally, I don't.
Where was this at? Does it say where?
How many cars does this guy have? Because clearly this one's not a big deal. I don't know where it is. I just know that, I mean, this it's fraud, theft, scamming, stealing, everything. It's meth. It's everywhere. It's all the time. It's like that movie, Everywhere All the Time. Watch this. You ready for another one? You're still working. Here we go. I'm going to turn the audio off because I don't want to get demonetized just for 8 seconds of audio.
Oh, it's that bad?
Well, it's just that YouTube is so sensitive. YouTube is more sensitive than an automotive podcaster.
Oh, this is a driving car. That's why.
So this is autonomous assistance. So if you fall asleep or whatever you do,
Did it take him off the road and
it'll tick them off the road, gave them a warning, started to brake.
Janice, you need this.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, if it really
I
works
mean,
like that. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you know, the whole autonomous thing, this is why I do the AI conversations. Because afterwards, I feel like I've just, like, taken Alice in Wonderland's red pill or whatever. It's messed up. It's crazy what's happening.
mean, you remember when they first came out with the cars that would park for you? Was that
Right.
like 2 or 3
Yeah,
years ago?
and
Yeah.
Dude, now it's either in China or Japan. It's common. They have these little valet skids,
Oh,
and they go around and
And
they
grab the
lift your
cars.
car and then they move it and they.
yeah,
You
but
don't
I'm
need a
talking
valet
about the
guy.
ones you would push a button and it would parallel park for you. And I don't think they were Teslas.
No.
You know, for example, we don't stare at the sky and go, "Oh my God, how does that drone stay up there?" We don't do that.
True.
It's
True.
the same thing. It's just that we're not used to it. Well, better buckle your belts.
It's
Bucky.
coming that way. What is
All right.
this? I can't wait to see
No,
this
this
shit.
is weird. Moozy sent this in. The guy
I have a
says
PhD in hauling.
he's a PhD in car hauling. He's saying it. I don't know.
Oh my god. That's gonna
I know.
slip out.
When you have a PhD,
It's gonna slip out. It's one on each side.
When you have a PhD,
It's gonna slip out.
And he's like, when you have a PhD.
in hauling,
He keeps saying, when you have a PhD. It's weird.
is job. When you have a PhD in hauling,
They're not showing it?
job.
Like going up?
When you have a PhD,
No, of course. No. That would be if you have a master's degree in
when you have a PhD in hauling,
Okay, because I'm waiting for them to try this shit and
I
watch
know.
it slip out.
No,
from
he's just
underneath.
going to.
Oh, are they
do
gonna
it
do
with
it?
his-
Okay.
And he just keeps saying, when you have a PhD in car hauling.
Yes, because he scooted it over five Oh,
It's actually
is
a
it moving?
great idea for a show. When you have a
Is it moving?
PhD in car, like,
Oh my God, is he moving it now? No.
that's it.
No.
That's the video.
Well, that
I
was
know.
lame.
I don't understand it. Thanks, Moosey.
I wanted to see the end result of them taking
That's
off the
really
front end of my car.
What's going on, Sal? Moosey's in there. What's going on, Moosey? Elena, happy Thursday. Yeah.
I need to pull that up. I have to pull that up. I
All right. What else we got here? Let's keep moving. We got to move. We got a big show. Oh, yeah. So Carrier of the Week, shout out. Oh, whoops. Carrier of the Week, shout out
do. To Regina
it's-
Express.
to Regina Express. Now, good job, Regina.
Yes.
When we do a shout out, you have to explain why. Why a shout out?
So we were talking about this, and we have sometimes really great carriers that do what they're supposed to do. They communicate with you, they show up when they're supposed to, they pay you when they're supposed to, and this is one of those companies. I work with them all the time. They always tell me when they picked up, they delivered, they do what they're supposed to do, and that's really hard to find in this industry anymore. It very rarely happens. So I decided we should start shouting out to the guys that are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I appreciate it. So
Regular communication
yep,
and like accurate communication.
yes, they
Like,
tell us
here's where we are.
Yep.
What does it say? Here's what we just picked it up.
Yep, and
We'll
we're
be
gonna
there tomorrow.
Yep, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting. I texted a company that hauls for me on the regular this morning to ask if they picked up, and I still don't have an answer. And that was from
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And it never changes. I think this is the part of the problem. This would be why everybody hates dispatchers, because
Yep.
we've got to cover up the fact that we can't communicate at all.
Yep.
There are people you work with, and after a while, you don't even bother asking.
Well,
Yeah, there's brokers. There's a broker right now. There's a broker right now saying, F this carrier. I can't stand that we never know what the F they're doing.
Well, and see, here's the thing. We all know there's multiple dispatchers for the big companies. So when I get a text from somebody and I don't have them saved under a certain name, I'm like, I need a cert, I need this. I know you've hauled for me before, but I've never worked with you personally. And since that keeps happening with fraud and stuff, this is how I make sure they are who they are. But anyways, so that is how it ends up happening, where you'll have some of these dispatchers that will not answer, and they work for a company. And then what do? I usually block you, because I'm not going to work with somebody who's not going to tell me what's going on. And I shouldn't have to call the main number to find out what's going on. And half the time they don't answer the phone anyways, and they don't know what's going on because they're not the dispatcher. So yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
And so here, I like to when I start to door ding, I use all the doors.
Yeah.
So big brokers that don't answer the phone or the chat line or anything when I'm trying to get a load, that's
Yep.
no better.
No, it's not.
Better.
I think it's
Just as
worse.
bad.
Because as a transporter, I had that happen, 3 times today?
Yeah.
Just today.
Right.
And I finally
know.
sent a text to the guy, because they wouldn't take the phone calls. They said to text or
Call
call.
the CEO. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, man.
So I always call the main number, and I'm like, I can't get this person to answer the phone. I don't know why you guys put a number on there that they won't answer. And today I finally said, could you at least tell me if it's good or not so I can quit bothering you? Finally got a text saying, no, it's gone. That was after 2 hours.
It's
And it's still on
always
the board.
gone.
It's still
always
on the
gone.
board
Sure
right
it
now.
is.
Yeah.
Well, everybody is at the golf tour handing out lobsters. Yeah, no, I know. That's how it works. There's no money in logistics. The shipping of the car? Oh, yeah, no, we don't really care about that. Hey, no wonder people don't like this show. Did you get the memo? This is cool. Central Dispatch has a new market intelligence. Each month, report on 2 industry data points to give automotive professionals like you full transparency in the latest transportation trends. So, I mean, it's pretty big talk, but
Did you click on
they're
it?
doing it. Look at this.
Okay.
So, here's, I guess this is the first one, October price per mile. And what?
2.7%.
Now, I'm not trying to take credit, but I've been talking about how,
We did.
yeah.
Remember when we first talked about
Well,
it?
yeah.
That one company, that Central Bot company, they had
Right.
that.
They had that.
Mhm.
Exactly. Right. And that Central Bot's going to say, yeah, we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
are.
I don't care anymore about anything. Really.
I don't even know if they're still around. I haven't.
But
asked
I will
them.
say, stuff still gets me excited. This gets me excited. So, good job. And you know what? There's about 5 other superhero companies that probably say they started doing it. The thing is this, once you start something, camera one, once you start something, keep doing it
Okay,
if it's a good idea.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Do you see this? It
Yeah.
says the average listed price per mile was $1.07.
Hey,
Where are
Where?
those loads at?
All right. All right. We now have a new segment called Where Are Those Loads?
You know
No,
what I'm thinking? Because
you
it's
know-
like a whole thing. Now think about this. The short runs that are paying $80 are probably paying $2 a mile or whatever. That's what's bringing that average up.
Well, and how are we talking? It says average listed. That is hard to believe. I didn't see that.
That's why I think it is. It's because you got those short runs that are listed for so much money. Because that's not the average listing. We all know what the
No.
average listing is. And
No,
it's not even
and you
a
know
dollar.
what? Central Bot, when they were doing their reports, they were breaking it apart by distance and other demographics.
Yep.
So, hey, let's dive into the minutia.
Yeah.
But I mean, and here's another one. 1.3%.
Really?
In
Sal
September.
said Reddy is asking for new carriers. Hey,
Get out of here. Oh my
I
God.
got 2. Put them on there.
Holy cow.
Okay.
Thanks,
Sal. Yeah, that helps.
I mean, they could have let us know, but why would you bother?
Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you even
come on.
advertise it on Central? But they probably don't want the gazillions of people to.
Come on. Yeah, then we'll have to shut the gates right away. We don't want to do that.
Janice is sending them an email right now. I'll let you know. What
Oh
they're doing.
no. Anyways, and there's more.
Look
They're
a
gonna
bit
look a
deeper.
bit deeper.
What was the other graph for? Can you go back? October
average mileage on listings
Okay.
was up. See, and I'll tell you what. Okay, the
Just
dealers,
last time I helped
now
you.
that they're using online auctions, they're buying cars further away. So, cars, I think, is saying traveled a little bit further on average, which would match.
Oh,
sense,
I'm
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Sal said no more. Yeah, they haven't. I missed that. Sorry. Lena.
Oh man!
Whoops! I
No
got
wonder
everybody
they-
all riled up.
Oh god!
Now they
All right,
haven't
stop
taken
the
anybody
rile,
since
everybody.
COVID, man.
No.
It's almost been 4 years. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, damn. I got my hopes up.
Okay.
You had to be really quick.
Okay, so they're averaging per mile, but you notice they're not saying what it is per mile, right?
Well, listen, I realize that you're nitpicking.
I know.
but
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, this is great. All right.
Yes.
Jeez. Here's another thing they've are doing
Uh-huh.
is more information on a load.
These listings are listed on but not assigned. Data value has passed. Oh, you know why? You have to go in and modify them and put the new date on there.
As a
Okay,
broker.
so I have a bitch about this. This is my bitch. I forgot to tell you what it was last
Oh.
week. I couldn't remember. Okay, so when you have your listings on there as a broker, before they gave you so many days and then they would expire, and then you could click all of them down the column and then put reset date. You can no longer do that. You have to click, 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 go in there and modify. Everything's a click, click, click.
Okay. So
There's
let's hit this again.
Double, triple clicks.
In the
to
new
everything.
in the new interface?
Yes.
In the update?
Yes.
In the
Have to hit-
update,
you got to go. I believe it's
you can't select all or nothing.
No.
Right?
And the same thing if you want to archive anything or anything like that, and which I don't even know if they do that. I think that's automatically in archive or whatever. You used to be able to, click them and put them in archive. Because like after my driver would get done, or even my loads, I would click all the ones that were completed. I'd archive them to get them out of my face. I don't know if you can do that anymore.
So, camera one, hey, Eric, do me a favor. Run over to the engineers and let them know that Sue needs the Like,
the button on
you
the
can
side.
update more than one at a time.
Yes.
Okay.
And just going in to modify, and then you
Cool.
got to go tell it what you want and stuff like that. It's just to me, they have made it the process of all of this stuff more clicks than necessary.
And then when we get that done, we'll all go out for steak. Okay. All right. Eric's buying.
But that's why
Thanks, Eric.
I don't know whose this was, but that is why you have to
Eric's
modify
taking everybody out for steak.
and put on your new dates.
Hey, did you say something about archive
Loads. We kind of figured it out. Okay, so by
did.
archive loads, we put a load in archived when something's going on with it. Like, say for example, we listed it, we found out they've lost the car, like at a Mannheim, and we've got to call the owner to find the car, to lay hands on it, that kind of thing. So we'll put it in archived until we find the car, and then we'll put it back on. So we were trying to do that today, and we couldn't find the load that we had archived. Actually, we found the load that we could archive.
It won't let us.
It will not let us relist them.
At all.
So it's a load that didn't get picked up. You need to relist it.
Yes, but it will not let us relist it, which is not fair because that is a load that we are paying for to list.
And it didn't get moved.
And it didn't get moved, so I have
All
to
right.
use an extra load that I shouldn't
Right.
have to use to relist the car.
Because you only get so many loads a month in your
Right.
subscription, right?
Right.
All right. So,
and so
hey,
if you
Eric,
archive something, you shouldn't have,
mind,
have that happen. Yeah.
mind saying, because that I mean, I get it. All right. So it's kind of like, like when you're at the bowling alley and you can't get that Snickers bar. It won't come out. So you
Right.
go to the customer service, say, listen, I bowl here all the time.
Yeah.
I used nickels. That's all I had. In fact, I was out in the shed and I found all these nickels, and I don't know, maybe some of them were, had cement because I had to repair the. Well, it was about a week ago. I had a mailbox fall over. So, anyways, I used all the nickels. I think there was some cement on one of the nickels. It must have got caught in the Snickers machine. By the time you're done finishing the story, they are handing you the money. Please get away from me. Go get your Snickers bar. Thanks, Eric. Snickers bars all around. Can you believe that somebody sent in this? Why do we have to click so many pages to get to one that took us one click before? Or we just click? Is there a lot of clickety-clacks? That's crazy. But you know what? I got to tell you. I'll change the screen. Oh, we want your beef. I think Eric told me that they actually check to see how many clicks they need to do because we talked about it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
Well, I
Pretty
mean,
cool. Hey Eric, I like my steak kind of medium rare. All right. This is auto transport, and you can literally do whatever you want. Still, which is hard to believe. All right. My face when the shipper says they went with a cheaper option. My face when they ask if I can still move their load. That's pretty funny. Did you see that? Did Janice see this?
Yeah. You are lying.
yeah.
It is really funny.
Yeah.
And this happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, I had something
Yeah.
similar happen today, but they didn't call me, unfortunately.
Well, no, there's too much pride. That's one of the phenomena I talked about in my dispatcher training series is that when I educate somebody that they got to raise the rate and they finally do, they don't call me. I can see it on Central, but they're not going to call me because, we're not going to screw that guy. We're not going to tell him he was right. Forget about it. AutoSled's got okay, so those reports of double brokering.
That's
And
why I think
individuals-
it's happening, right?
Oh my God! Individuals are impersonating AutoSled and soliciting transport services to pick up vehicles for delivery to Atlanta. They even know where. Okay, so, right? What's the solution here? It sounds like, and we were talking about this Tuesday night with, oh my God, the voice. It's already a problem. If you suspect, somebody's calling you and that voice, it sounds like somebody you know, but it doesn't sound right. Hang up the phone and call them. And not star 69. Don't even know if that works anymore. But call whoever you thought was calling you and say, hey, did you just call me? Because they're going to say, nope, But somebody acted like us and says, you're delivering to Atlanta.
Chief said,
So if you receive any communications that you suspect,
probably looking at about
let's do this. If you receive any communications you suspect may be fraudulent, you're encouraged to verify their authenticity. Contact whoever you think you need authority from. Verify. Always confirm transport requests through official channels. Do not share information. Don't click on links that you think are weird. When you get that text that UPS said you've got some, package, you won some award from somebody in Hawaii, and that makes no sense, don't click on it. Jeez. What? How many? It's email, it's phone calls, it's text. I get calls all the time now. Does your phone ring off the hook too? Like from everywhere. Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Texas. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I read an article, and I had you muted because you were working. And that's what we do to workers, is we mute them.
Is okay,
I hear you.
Okay.
Shoot, I forgot what I was saying. I think I was talking about phone calls and scams and stuff. Anyways, don't take... Here's another one. If you get a call last minute from anybody saying, oh, no, don't deliver to the dealership. Deliver to 123 Dark Alley. Don't do it. That's literally how vehicles are being stolen. It is too easy now for somebody to hack into your account. It seems hard to believe. Again, you see the drone flying in the sky. You see your car taking you to the side of the road. Now you see somebody is logging into your account. Or they're reading your email. That's another thing. Did they get into your central dispatch account? Did they go into your email? Did they go into your text? Who knows?
Yeah.
But they know to call you. They know you're delivering a Rolls-Royce Ghost at 2 o'clock. And they know that if they intercept you at 1, 1:30, 1:55, or even 2:15, because you're always running late, they can take that car from you. And they will do it. And you're in such a hurry, you're not going to confirm. You're not going to question. May not even be your primary language. There, I said it. This is literally happening all the time. So now we're going to do another show soon on ATI. Because where are you going to do a show about this?
So this was the AutoSled thing, right? That we got all the emails from. That's why we brought this up. Because remember, I got all these emails saying you need to reset your password. And I didn't do any of it because I thought it was...
Well, now that's the other problem. Now when you get those emails, do you trust those emails?
Yeah,
what can you trust?
Yeah, that's the problem. I didn't do it.
I had a sensitive interface I was logging into this morning. It was banking or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it said, we're going to send you a verification code. And I got the text and I thought, liars. No, it's not. But
those I believe because you have your phone number on there to link to. But when you get... Okay, so this was my problem is all my drivers, I kept getting random emails from AutoSled saying change password. And what was weird is a lot of them were companies that are no longer in business. That worried me because you should already know that, right? So that's why I didn't do it. I really didn't think it was legit, to be honest with you. They should probably send out an email ahead of time to everybody and say, hey, by the way, this is what's going on. We're going to be sending this out just so you know this is legit.
Well, we're going to be sending out an email. And, I mean, what if that...
I mean, that's what
it's crazy. The whole world's gone crazy.
I don't know if everybody remembers, but when Run Buggy did something like that, like last year, I didn't fill it out either. I thought there was fraud going on too.
Well, no,
they should have notified us too.
They jumped.
It's too much stuff going on in the world. You can't just do it.
It's gone. We've gone fraud crazy. Yeah. And we're in the early days. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I read an article or something that what happened here is that during COVID, not only was everybody locked down and drinking a lot and binge watching Netflix, but they were learning how to become hackers. The amount of hackers quadrupled during COVID.
Yeah.
Then after the COVID money ran out, because that was the easiest hack. I mean, even Brett Favre. Okay, let's just retract whatever you said about Brett Favre. But people were stealing money left and right, and now they got, now they're in business. Hey, honey, did you feed the kids? Who are we gonna hack tonight? That's probably gonna be a new NBC show. Who are we gonna hack tonight? NBC's like, leave us out of it. We're still working on development. There's an article about selling your MC number. I tapped Brian on the shoulder. We're going to get Brian back in December. We'll talk about that. We did our load boards. I don't know. I did see this. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome.
That's 1, 2, 3, right?
That's what it means.
And they listed their criteria, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Cool. I need a dispatch. You still got room for a truck?
I do. That guy never sent in his paperwork.
All right, perfect. Jeez. You gotta love this business. Hey, if you need a website too, I know a guy doing websites. So something to think about. So we're gonna get into Vendorflow. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here. I got all these screenshots and no place to put them. I mean, they're really thinking about this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot, yeah.
Day and night, yeah. So here's a dashboard, and I don't know its application, but that's the setup. So here we go with Vendorflow. Do me a favor, stick around. Right after this, we're going to be live with Eric and David, and we're going to learn more about Vendorflow. We will be right back.
Are you completely stressed out from all the calls and the contracts and the verifications of loads where nobody ever answers the phone? Call Murphy Auto Dispatch Services today. Murphy Auto Dispatch Services has over 15 years in the transport industry. We are your office while you are on the road. We book, we verify, and we bill out your loads for you. We have an excellent accounting staff and an even better dispatch team. Give us a call today at 417-273-0021, or if you want to email me, it's murphyautotransport31@yahoo.com. Give us a call today.
Auto Hauler Exchange has revolutionized the way vehicle haulers and vehicle shippers collaborate. The Exchange B2B marketplace connects vehicle haulers directly to shippers in a frictionless manner. The Exchange helps vehicle haulers maximize their capacity while eliminating empty miles. The Exchange is the first true B2B marketplace of its kind in the vehicle logistics industry. By connecting carriers and shippers directly, carriers can save time and choose which opportunities fit their needs each day. At the same time, shippers can rest assured that their vehicles are being moved by qualified, vetted carriers who fit their vetting program. The Auto Hauler Exchange has democratized the vehicle logistics industry by eliminating the middlemen and connecting shippers directly to available carriers.
Why does a broker get a percentage of every load you move when clearly you could be working directly with carriers? Go around the broker. Get faster car shipping. Visit autohaulerexchange.com. All right, here we go. Please do help me wish a very warm welcome to. We got Eric and David here with us today. Gentlemen, can you see me and hear me?
Absolutely. Great to be here.
Loud and clear.
Great to see you. Eric, go ahead and kick us off. Please say hello and tell us a little bit more about you.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Eric Rodriguez, CEO of Vendorflow. We'll be getting all into it, I suppose, the whole background of Vendorflow. But I've been in tech for about 10, 12 years now, but in logistics and trucking for maybe 6, 7 years. And we'll be talking about driver communications today, but we'll get to that.
Perfect. David, welcome back. How are you?
Thanks for having me back, Jay. David Ray, for those of you who don't know me, I've been on the podcast a couple of times, working with Eric and the Vendorflow team and a product marketing perspective. I used to work at Vroom, so we'll get into those details later. But yeah, very passionate about driver communications and making sure data flows and that the driver communication problem is solved.
Awesome. Let's do this. I'm going to start with, okay, that's the thumbnail for today. And I'm just going to let's bring up the website.
What?
Let's go ahead and let me get my Oompa Loompas to wheel that out.
Here we go.
We have the wrong address in
And so you go to
I
Vendorflow,
thought that was going on.
and Sue, I'm going to mute you. You're all good. You go to Vendorflow, and I saw the dashboard.
Yeah.
What is going on? What are you doing?
A few things going on, certainly. We are a driver communications product. Mostly fleets use us. They're fleet dispatch to communicate with drivers. Could be dispatch services, perhaps like Murphy Auto. Occasionally, it'll be freight brokers as well communicating with drivers. But mostly, it's been fleet dispatch to driver communication. So just for the super basics here, what are we looking at here? Well, it's a way of organizing the different driver contacts that are being communicated with. And this Jose Aguilar character you see in this top center, well, that's a driver that's being communicated with. You see he spoke back in Spanish and it was translated. You see he shared his location, pushed on back to the customer. You see it sent in a document, an image, all kinds of fun stuff to improve the driver communication and the internal collaboration. But that's an intro right there.
Okay, so you got me there. What I like it, you're telling me he's speaking Spanish, right? He's Spanish. And he is speaking Spanish. Oh, I see it now. And it was translated in. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we find that every dispatch team has one person who doesn't speak Spanish, and they often feel a little.
That's me. I don't.
There you go.
I don't
Sure.
speak Spanish.
That's.
I've been on the phone with guys that speak Spanish. I don't know what to do.
It can be a lot.
It is.
In writing, no problem, but over the phone, I get real stressed out.
And these are details. I don't know the words. Yeah, this is great.
That's right. Yeah.
That's just one application. I mean.
Oh yeah, there's a million reasons why different fleets, brokers, dispatch services have worked with us. It tends to be the simple stuff. The simple stuff, like when my dispatcher is away from the desktop, they don't have a way of responding, so they need to be able to respond from their phone. Could be really simple stuff. Doesn't have to be rocket science, but
okay.
Yeah.
So all right, let's do it. Let's go to the example. You got a driver behind the wheel.
That's right.
And they get a text from the broker. And they can't, they're just not, it's construction, it's Nashville. There's no time to go and look, but they need to do something. What's the application here?
Yeah, so, let me back up by talking about the problem and how we kind of came to all of this. And funny thing is, David and I had somewhat of a shared experience before we even met. Actually, David, if you don't mind kicking that part off, because that's how we met, and it's kind of the origin story to all this, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure. So I think it was, what was it, Jay, 2 or 3 years ago? You had Eric on, and I was actively trying to understand the communication gap in logistics. So when I was working at Vroom, we were working with various brokers, and they were, promoting different technologies, driver apps, et cetera. And the more I dug into it, I realized just there's this kind of game of telephone going on, right? And it's like, all right, how do you relay that information that the shipper needs, the broker needs, and do it in a way that works for the driver? So in digging into that problem space and talking to drivers, I realized they had, 8 to 10 apps. Sometimes they have the app on their phone. Sometimes they turn it off. If they're at dinner, sleeping, whatever, they're not using it. So this idea of kind of like real-time communication it wasn't exact in my opinion. So once I saw Eric on the show, I was like, oh, that's the guy actually solving the problem. And he actually has the product that, solves that problem for folks. So reached out to Eric and, been following him for the last 2 or 3 years. And it's been great working with him for the last 6 months or so.
I'm just going to jump in and say, and what I know from the time, listen, David, we've had some great phone calls, had you on the show. The more I get to know about what you do, like you're this awesome addition to anybody trying to solve a problem and looking for ideas. And if it has to do with logistics and software, well, you're the guy.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'll take it back. And yeah, that's why it made a lot of sense for David and I to work together. He approaches me, he says, hey man, I think I saw the same problems that you saw. And it's really satisfying when otherwise we were strangers, but we had sort of similar kindred experiences or whatever you want to call it. And mine, without repeating all of David's story, it's just so similar. I worked at a freight brokerage. I was on the tech team. We helped to build a driver app, and the adoption was very poor. We had to kind of, carrot and stick with the driver, give him rewards or punishments or both.
Adoption was poor.
Weird stuff. Yeah, to try to get them to install the thing,
Yep.
share their location, share the documents, all that fun stuff. So the adoption was so poor, it was about 20 to 25% of the time that they would use the app. 75 to 80% of the time, the driver would do SMS or WhatsApp or WeChat or Telegram or Facebook Messenger. We even saw Instagram messages once, which is too much, too far. That's beyond my line. But it is recognizes that, yeah, drivers have their own preferences. And how is an operation team supposed to react when drivers are engaging them in all sorts of different channels, that pandemonium? One stat David was helping us dig up is a lot of our customers, there'll be a team of maybe 5, 6 dispatchers, and they're sending tens of thousands of text messages to drivers per month. That's a lot. And try not to drop a ball when you got that much going on. You know, try not to forget to bring in that POD and pass to the customer on time, or bill that accessorial or that claim, whatever the case may be. Good luck. It could be a lot.
I just typed message pandemonium. That's
Sure.
it. And I mean, I have had somebody say, "Well, can't you just send me a WhatsApp?" Well, I don't really have. I don't know.
What's a WhatsApp? Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, but
Right.
WhatsApp. Yeah, that's just, and everybody does. Everybody has their flavor of ice cream.
Indeed. And it's a funny thing because for some fleets, that, just to be clear for everyone, what's WhatsApp and Telegram? These are popular social messaging apps that tend to be very binary. It either has absolutely nothing to do with you or it's highly irrelevant based on which community you're in. WhatsApp is really popular in Latin American driving communities as well as Indian American driver communities, as well as more. Telegram has its own demographics and groups and so on. And they may or may not apply to you. But our role as Vendorflow is to say there is no right or wrong answer what channel to engage a driver over. The right answer is whatever they can safely and promptly respond to. That's the right channel. So we provide a hub. So dispatch can say, for you, you're getting an SMS, for you, you're getting a WhatsApp, but it's still organized in one place. Or an ELD message or a TMS app message. It should be unified into one hub. That's the theme.
Right. So you have, as I say, plugging in the Christmas tree lights.
Sure.
You have all these lanes of messaging coming in. So how do you plug those lights in together? What are you doing? I mean, I'm not looking for secret sauce, but is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we are a hub that we work with the customer to say which channels are relevant to you, which ones matter to you. And really what we're saying is which ones matter to your driver community. That's really the question. And they'll say this one, that one. Okay, well, for your instance, you get those 3 channels, and the ones that are not relevant, well, we leave them out. And there could be more channels beyond SMS and the social ones. It could be, when I say ELD messaging, let me be clear what I mean by that. I mean like a Samsara or a Motive or a GeoTab, if these are clicking and ringing on the tablet. They have their own messaging service. So what's the right channel? There's no right or wrong answer, but they all seem to participate in the melee of different channels.
And now you're in your Samsara, and you're supposed to be working on your ELD, but you're like, honey, what are you doing later? Oh, God, I'm in my Samsara.
Sure. Oh, yeah, it's a lot to switch between. That's right.
It's like, really, Jay? So, all right. So, I mean, but that's a great example. The point being, I think I got it, is that this goes beyond just messaging platforms. There's all kinds of ways. Can you plug into Slack and stuff too?
I love that question. So yes, one of my favorite stories from a fleet I was speaking to. Okay, the driver uses SMS to text in an image. Could be anything, a proof of delivery, damage, whatever the story is. Text in an image. Dispatch looks at the image, they download the image, they convert the image to PDF. Then they upload the image to Slack or Microsoft Teams. And then a billing person looks at that and then downloads that and then uploads that to Super Dispatch or Central or whatever the case may be. We find that to be super bonkers and funny.
Ooh. Can you get into the messaging within an eBayOL mobile app too?
Yeah,
Well, this gets crazy. I mean, oh my God. You must have like 100 right?
That's our role. That's how we're supposed to be. Because we Vendorflow, we're super duper not a TMS. If that's any confusion, nope, we are absolutely not.
Right,
a TMS.
not a TMS. Yes,
we help
simplifying messaging.
Yeah, pull in that information. So the driver texts an image in the Vendorflow universe. They text that image in, and then dispatch can push it to Slack, push it to Teams, push it to TMS, or NetSuite, or you tell us. I'm not going to tell you where it should go. You tell me where it should go. We'll set up that API integration. It's not rocket science, usually quite straightforward. And we'll enable that to save some steps. In fact, we can even convert that image on the way. If it's the driver texted a PNG image and your TMS requires some other format, PDF, cool, we'll convert it on the way to save your dispatch team even more steps in moving that information where it's got to go.
You just made me think of Discord.
Sure.
See, adults don't talk about Discord.
Even I barely.
In fact, now that I did, they're at the door and I gotta go. So, okay, so the thing is, right, Discord, what I've learned about it is that it's kind of this mishmash of what do you want to upload, what do you want to share, what groups do you want to have. It's actually a really smart messaging all in one, and kids love it. My oldest son, he's got like some sports groups. So when there's a game on, yeah, we're hanging out, but he's on the computer talking to everybody about all these different games, and I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty brilliant.
It is. We're very impressed by Discord, and I'm sure in subconscious ways we're inspired by a lot of the ways they've organized it. But it's an excellent analogy for all your Gen Z listeners who for whom that resonated. Yeah.
So, early on, were you able to plug, like, I don't know, let's say you had, right, is that what happened? How'd you get into this? You said, we got all these disparate channels. I wonder if I can connect them.
Yeah, I mean, we graduated our way to this position. In the early days, one of our biggest breakthroughs was with a large drayage fleet. They got about 1,000 trucks spread over about 20 terminals. Their thing was they had a back office employee who was emailing documents out to, let's say, a couple hundred drivers to say, hey, here's a new contractor agreement or labor style agreements. And they'd send out the email and then not hear anything back because it's email. When it's truck drivers and they're on the road, they don't want to deal in that manner. The thing that was the breakthrough for them was enabling broadcasting over SMS, something they'll actually read and respond to most of the time, Sue. And they can just tap that document, open, sign, boom, be done with it. Our whole concept here is that the driver shouldn't have to install software, shouldn't have to log into stuff. It's got to be as simple as texting or as simple as these very lightweight channels.
How about I'm a driver and I'm in the middle of a conversation where I've got a personal communication and a business communication happening on the same channel. Can you parse? What happens here?
I don't know if we're that fancy from a parsing perspective, but we can support group chats. It has been a request that we've gotten from time to time. The funny thing is, usually the group, if you will, is the whole dispatch team sharing the inbox, sharing that one operations phone line, and communicating with one driver at a time. That tends to be how that cookie crumbles. Because we've seen a lot of tough stuff in dispatch where, okay, let's say each dispatcher has a different phone line and the driver's texting with one dispatcher during the day, that dispatcher clocks out for the day. Well, you better hope that before they clocked out, they left a million Post-it notes for the night dispatcher. So that handoff can be pretty brutal. And
exactly.
That's why we are a big advocate of shared inbox texting. So when night shift dispatch shows up, this is bang. They see everything that's been going on, just keep on rolling, no big deal. And when that night dispatcher texts a driver, we append a little signature, a little from David, just so the driver knows, oh, okay, I'm talking to David now. Got it. Over that same phone line.
Ooh, that's pretty neat. David, what do you want to add?
Just thinking in terms of volume, like as Eric mentioned earlier, we saw a customer that was, I think they sent, 3,600 messages in one day between their team. And so when you're talking about all this, we're talking about, there's potential for Discord messages, there's text, Slack messages, there's all these different channels. And when you think about the possibility for things to slip through the cracks and just the ability to unify that into one location, like I see that as a huge upside for dispatching teams. So in addition to the ability for the driver to actually have just, I'm looking at my phone. I don't have to go anywhere else. I can give the updates as I need through my phone. And it goes seamlessly to a dispatching team. So I love what we're doing with Vendorflow, and I'm excited to see what we're going to do next.
So let's talk business, I guess. I mean, what's happening right now? You've got a product, you got proof of concept, it's being used. What's a use case you love to talk about?
Well, one thing that we're excited about is the ELD integration direction. And yeah, we're very much in market. We've been fully live in market for a little over a year and a half. But things have really started to ramp up in the last 6 to 9 months. And we do work with, give a shout out if that's okay, First Choice Auto Transport. They're out in, I believe it's called like White Pigeon, Michigan.
Misty.
Yes, Misty Campagna, that's right.
Yeah, Misty.
Yeah, so they've been amazing to work with. They were one of our early true believers, or whatever you want to call it, early adopters who really understood what we're up to, and it's been a real joy working with them for sure. But to get back to your question though, yeah, so ELD integration is super interesting to us, and to be clear, this is best suited for fleets who want to communicate with their own drivers who are set up on Samsara, Geotab, Motive, Platform Science, these types of things. So what does communications have to do with ELD? Not obvious. In fact, if you asked me a year ago, I might not have even known. It's the request we got from our customers. So to set up rules, to say when you're texting a driver, well, could be a safety concern, right? What about distracted driving, texting and driving type of concerns? Well, when they fire that text, we can check the ELD. Is this truck rolling right now? Is it appropriate to deliver a text right now when the text is rolling? When the truck is rolling, not the text is rolling. So we can set up rules that say the moment that truck is stopped or in park or whatever the appropriate standard is, then deliver the text. So this is a safety feature. And further, what we're really excited about is to have rules that say if the truck is rolling, send it to their tablet. That might be like a Samsara message. And when they're parked, then send it to their SMS because it'll actually respond to that. We find that it's hard to get response out of the tablet. It's awkward to type into a tablet. So these are the things we're excited about to orchestrate with ELD.
That's smart. David.
One other thing I was talking to Eric about before this conversation, I think, what was it? Was it last year when I was on the show with Skip? And we were talking about once ELDs are mandated in the industry, the communication problem just kind of goes away. And I don't think that's the case. I think, if you're a driver and you're not in the cab, or you're not, you're off hours or at a diner, having lunch or having dinner, those messages aren't going to get through, and those quote unquote real-time updates aren't going to get passed along as expected. So as Eric mentioned, the ability to build these workflows based on the status of a driver, that's kind of the next step in the future of providing real-time updates and communication. So as we talked on that podcast, I think the idea that this would actually solve the problem in terms of having an ELD, I think it falls short a little bit. And so, as Eric mentioned, the workflows, all the automation, I think that's kind of the next step in terms of solving the problem in our industry.
Well,
Yeah, Eric.
I mean, just to be clear, let's say that 100% of fleets are set up with ELD and they're pinging every 2 seconds or whatever. That perfect GPS. Well, that's great. The fleet knows where the truck is. Does the broker know where the truck is? So the broker still might need to send a text to the driver to say, hey, please tap this and it'll share GPS. That's something that we support as well. Because, it can be hard for the broker to get that ELD data from the fleet. What if the fleet doesn't want to share it? It could be messy. I would imagine. We'll ask Sue to validate if that's true or not. But yeah.
She's on courtesy mute. Did I do that? I probably did that.
That's right.
You did.
Oh, whoops. No. I just said it again. All right. Ask to unmute. Sorry, Sue.
All right. Okay.
Yes, it's difficult at best. Let's put it that way.
Well, here's what I was going to say. Because number one is like solutions now we're many years away from end solution. Right?
Constantly changing.
So everything's a work in process now. I mean, and there's always something being added, which means it's never done. I went on my diatribe and forgot what I was going to say. But here's what I was going to say. Timing. I'm going to write it down.
Okay.
Timing. Even if the driver's sharing his GPS tracking, the broker may have gotten wrapped up in some phone call and is not aware of something they asked 2 hours ago and they need to know. And so, because what I'm learning now is not only am I overloaded everywhere, but now I'm missing things, and I hate missing something. I missed a phone call, I missed a text, I missed an email, and then when I do see it, I kind of jump. I'm like, crap, I wish I'd known that 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So we're going to be developing new systems, because here's the thing is, as AI kicks into gear, and Sue, with Dispatch AI, which we don't even have that yet, right?
No.
Dispatch AI?
No.
Okay. When we do, you're going to have 25 drivers.
Well,
I know.
okay.
I know. The drone, another drone just flew overhead and it made no sense. It's true though, right?
Well,
With
well, I
dispatch,
guess, but you still have
Eric,
to have loads, so I don't know if that makes any difference.
David, with Dispatch AI, can you do 25 drivers?
I think
Yeah.
to some degree you'll be able to manage more drivers. I think as you know, when we're talking through, you know, this kind of communication load concept where let's say one person is sending 3,600 messages per month or something like that.
Yeah.
That could represent 5 to 10 drivers, right? So
Yeah.
does, you know, a communication hub or does some platform or AI and automation allow one dispatcher to send 5,000 or 10,000? Like that's kind of the goal, right? It's how do we facilitate that so one dispatcher can manage more drivers and an organization can bring on more trucks and without having to hire, you know, additional folks. So
right. And so, and to this point, Janice will have 25 drivers. See, that's what I love about all this is AI is not removing everybody. AI is increasing people's abilities. And
I will have 30 drivers.
there you go. See what I'm saying? So awesome. Sue is like, Janice said on October 10th.
Starting now.
But this is where we're headed. And as that happens, we will need new systems to help us manage all these new systems.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
But I do think that's where we're I mean, I don't think it's made up, you know? There must have been a day in the 70s where they're like, ELD, that's stupid. Well, people are still saying that. But it's in place.
LSD?
No, ELD.
Not ELD, LSD.
Yeah, that's what Janice did in the
Is in
70s.
place.
Yeah.
This is ATI.
You can say whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. So, all right. So, what else? You had a lot of marketing material. What's something else we didn't cover?
Oh boy, there's so much. Where do we begin? I mean, one thing I guess I would talk about is how a lot of fleets we've talked to will improvise the way they communicate with drivers. So one of my favorites is that there is a fleet we met, 60 trucks, and they just use a single Android phone to do all their dispatch. So they'd have a bullpen of dispatchers surrounding this single Android phone, ominously sitting in the middle of the table, and they'd have to pass it around to text to different drivers. And but you ask yourself, well, why would they do that? Surely they could have afforded 6 phones, right? Yes, in this case, yes. Well, they didn't want to have these split conversations across 6 different phones. They wanted to have it in one place. So in a way, they were doing a very simple expression of the shared inbox model. So it's a fun story. I enjoy how wildly it varies.
I think that's awesome. And I'll tell you, because in the early beginnings of when I started, I could see where that would be something that might happen because of the way the driver operates.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome. That's a great story. I'm picturing a visual too. David, work on that. Like this room of desks, and there's a phone in the middle.
That could be a good diagram for our white paper. I like that. That's good. No. And one thing that, if I may talk about the future a little bit, what we're excited about. So yes, we're excited about the orchestration rules with the ELD to say, hey, if the driver is, sleeping, don't send him a text, wait for later, so on and so forth. But there's one more frontier here that we're excited about. And that is a lot of the trucks themselves are being equipped with this in-cab communication stuff. There's a speaker that can bark at the driver. There's a microphone the driver can speak into. There's a screen with messages. And I don't just mean some Android that you slapped in there. I mean, it's baked into the truck. But what's really funny is, okay, let's say you're dispatch and you want to communicate through those means. That's arguably the best means, right? It's baked into the truck. It's safe. It's hands-free. So that dispatcher should be able to use a Vendorflow interface, and we should be able to say, oh, because they're in the truck right now, we know that then fire it through the in-cab voice experience. That's something we're really excited about. But you know what's funny? It would be inappropriate to name names, but I talked to one of these truck manufacturer software people, and they said, we're so proud of our in-cab communications, but nobody's using it. Well, why is nobody using it? Well, because fleets tend to have a mix of types of trucks. They'll have, 10 Volvos and 13 Freightliners and 12 who knows what's. And so then does that mean dispatch is going to use the Volvo dispatch tool and then share swivel over to the Freightliner dispatch tool? Not going to happen. So what they need is a hub to achieve communicating to different types of conditions. That's really the theme here, isn't it? What's most appropriate, what's most safe, what's going to reach them. That's what we find exciting. We're not there yet, but that's where we're going.
Wow. First, I want to say that I agree with you about the, kind of multimedia interactive cab.
Yeah.
And to somebody, it'll be like a Monty Python skit where you just have to also pull a random lever every 5 seconds for no reason. But I do know that from onboarding, it is amazing how you can go through the time and steps to get a company excited, and then they decide to buy. But now you're really back at the beginning because you have to go through that all again to get someone to adopt and use it. So selling takes twice, if not 3 times. It's a busy arena.
Absolutely right. And that's why in our philosophy, the driver shouldn't have to install anything, shouldn't have to be trained on anything, shouldn't have to log into anything. In fact, the driver doesn't need to know that we exist. And that's our underlying philosophy. Because otherwise, we're going to have this huge problem of which ones are going to play ball or not. We leave that irrelevant. Because, reach them by SMS, WhatsApp, whatever they like, that's what you reach them by. We do have to, in your verse of sell twice, we do have to sell twice to make sure dispatch wants to use the product. That's a totally fair point. We make sure they're very involved in the sales process. Usually it's a 2-stepper. I'll have one call with a leadership type, and then I'll say, let's have one more demo with your actual dispatchers, get their feedback. Usually it's a whole mix of different problems. Some of them care about language translation, some of them care about document flows, some of them care about automating messages and all kinds of fun stuff. So it varies. Like to hear it from them, get their buy-in, and then they tend to be a lot more workable about starting to use the thing.
I love the cab interactive voice. Again, someone's going to say, no, that sounds terrible. But, as we move, look how many people are already used to using like Alexa. And it doesn't take long to get used to it. Suddenly like, oh, okay, yeah. When is the laundry going to be done? And then she tells 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Plus I separated the colors just like you like. So when you get into that and you realize, and then you add some AI, and now you're really going to get interesting, is that, right, you're in your cab, you're no longer jumping to your phone to text. You could be using Vendorflow Hub, and all you got to do is talk. Read me back that message. Read back what's the most important message? Now you're using AI.
For a $175 phone.
Agreed. There's a lot of opportunity there. Although, as a software provider, we need to be modest in how we present this to the driver. If we get too far ahead of themselves, I'll give you a quick story. I talked to a couple fleets where they tried to mandate, they said, hey, drivers, to be safe, you must use Siri to communicate with us. So, they go, hey, Siri, tell dispatch that I'm, 10 miles out or whatever. And sounds like a fine idea to us four. Or perhaps, but to the driver it was horrible because if that driver has a thick accent, if Siri drops the ball once, they say, oh, forget it. I don't want to deal with this. So there are certain best practices to consider. Our philosophy is if a driver is going to use their voice, then to pass that audio clip exactly as they said it to dispatch. So we can transcribe it. We can try to transcribe it, but the transcribing might be way off. But if you send the audio clip through, at least dispatch can actually understand the context of what they said. Because yeah, good luck with accent plus slang. Throw that at the AI. I'm not convinced it's there yet.
Well, and I'm with you too. For right now, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Dear driver, whatever your favorite messaging app is, we're cool with it now.
That's right.
It fits into our hub. And so if you WhatsApp me and I'm using, I don't know what I'm using. Maybe I'm in one of the mobile apps. And then I go send you a communication out of the mobile app, it'll come back into your WhatsApp. Is that right?
Yeah, where in this case, Vendorflow is the interface for operations teams, and the driver uses whatever they want to use. So Vendorflow normalizes that all into one standard interface.
When you tell a driver they can continue to use what they want to use, that's all they want to hear.
Yeah, just to add to that, that was one of the interesting insights that I came to when talking to a customer. I mean, driver satisfaction and driver retention was a huge, pain point for them. And so, they want to be known as the company that has the best experience for their drivers so they can, retain them. And then on the operations side, once we realized and looking through some of the data, they were saying they were spending almost half of their time in Vendorflow. So if you think about it on day to day, how many messages you're sending out, whether it's over email, Slack, all the various channels, and having that in a unified hub was pretty cool to find out. Like between their TMS and their communications hub, they're spending half of their day in Vendorflow, which really illustrates how important the communication unifying those systems is.
If I may add a super quick story there, 20 truck fleet out in SoCal. Oh boy. They told me how, but before Vendorflow, they tried to mandate to their drivers, you have to use the TMS app for messaging going forward. No more texting allowed. Out of the 20 drivers, 3 of them said, okay, no problem. I'll just work somewhere else then. And then they quit, and that was it. So they do care about how easy it is to work or not, if they're being forced to do awkward stuff. Because it's not natural. There's a reason why SMS and WhatsApp and all these are so popular. It's because they're easy to use and people are comfortable with it. So it's super funny. Yeah.
Well, that is an interesting
not funny
story.
for the employer, I suppose.
No, sure, but hey, you got to learn something today. David, as you were saying, I mean, proof of concept is when you see somebody voluntarily continue to do something, whatever it is, you've got a winning. That's a winner.
Yeah, and I've mentioned this a couple of times on previous shows, but I think it was 2022, 2021. I interviewed over 50 drivers. And when you talk to these guys, you realize like yes, they have the apps, but the reason they're not adopting it, it's not convenient. So everything goes back to the easiest form of communication, which is typically text and phone, right? Yes, they'll download the app, they'll pick up the load, and then they'll delete it, and then they'll let you know like once they get there. So yeah, like texting just seemed like the base solution that was the easiest to use and most commonly adopted, which everyone while they promote their various apps, I think there's a reason why a lot of folks don't promote their adoption usage, right? Like that's a number that's kind of hidden, right? Like
Totally.
And that's not specific to any one company or any, platform, but on the ELB side, on the driver app side, like not a lot of folks actually say this is how often our drivers are using it. So while it is there and it is available, it does not seem to be as effective as we like. So,
and texting as a form of communication might be the most convenient today. Right? The phone call, I can get trapped on the phone. So I'm not taking any calls.
Yeah.
And the email, right? And the email, I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
Right? But a text, yeah.
In and out.
I can communicate as much as I want or as little as I want. You can't
Keep
right? You can't get me, right? You could say, F you, where'd you go?
Bye. ...
I don't know, where'd I go? And yet it's immediate because you probably have your phone on you. That's
Yeah.
why when I text my kids and they don't get back to me, I'm like, I know they have their phone on them. That's stupid. Right. So this taps into that, right? Into your bloodline of communication in 2024. And you're also saying, keep communicating how you want to. Fine, don't reply. But we know you're on WhatsApp.
Yeah, basically Wi-Fi people, when you can meet them where they are, the way they like to operate. That's right. Yeah.
Right, you said it better than I did. We meet you where you are and how you live. Yeah. As opposed to the way Jay said it. That's why I don't do a lot of onboarding at Vendorflow.
In time.
We are past our time. Did we miss anything?
And not, I mean, it doesn't have to be all about vendor flow stuff. I would love to hear if there's room for it. For Sue to share some of her experiences. She was talking a little bit about texting earlier today, but always love to hear different folks' perspectives on their experience with and pains with driver communication. Not to put you on the spot.
I love it, Sue.
I mean, yeah, texting is probably what, 90%? Yeah, at least 90%, I would say. And that's not even just to the drivers. That's to get a load from a broker. And I'll be honest, I prefer it too, because he's right. You don't have to get in a whole bunch of stuff and on and on and on. The only time my drivers actually call me, or I call them if there's something really important or something has happened, or they've got a question, that's when I hear from them. That's when I talk to them, and we take care of it right then and there. But yeah, the rest of the time it's just me texting them saying, you know, because we give them their pickup order, we give them their delivery order. If there's something in particular they need to know about where to park or who to talk to, I put that in the text too, because of course they never read the notes on, you know, the load board. So I baby them just maybe a little too much, but you know, it is the way it is. So we just try to make sure that everybody's flowing and it's, you know, working the way it's supposed to do as fast as possible, because, you know, time is money.
Oh, and hey, on Regina Express, Carrier of the Week,
Exactly.
how do they communicate with you?
Text.
Is it text?
Text.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's text. And as John put in the live chat, are brokers looking for real-time locations from drivers? It's not the same thing as we're talking about, but
Kinda.
would you say they are, Sue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they
and in what
do-
way do they do that? Do they call? Wouldn't
They
it be great
call
if they
me.
could just
They
text?
call, they text. And there's a few brokers that really, they specifically, where's your driver at right now? Like, they want me to go to his tracker and tell him exactly where he's at. Instead of just saying, what time is your driver going to be
Are you
there?
going to
or
Super
whatever.
Dispatch? Is that where
Yeah,
you go?
I go to Super Dispatch and I track them and I'll say, this is where they're at, you know.
What's the... Okay, so let's go to Super Dispatch. Super Dispatch tracks the driver because it's on their phone, right, in their
Right.
mobile app,
Right.
which is in their truck with them.
Well, they have to accept
Allegedly.
it, just so you know. The driver does not have to agree to be tracked. I
Yeah.
make them do that because that way I don't have to bother
It's
them.
a
as
choice.
much. Right, but
Because you could be doing something shady and you don't want to be...
right, and here's the thing: if you're doing that and you're saying you won't let me track you, I probably don't want to work with you anyways, because there's
Right,
something
that's
going on.
awesome.
I
Hey,
had a
before we get
driver
to
do that,
payment,
by
can
the
I track
way.
you? No? All right,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, no, I'm good too.
Yeah, well, because I had a driver that was doing that, and I had to fire him because he kept lying to me about where he was at, and I'm telling these people, and then he's like 6 hours away, and I'm like,
Why can't you be tracked?
Yeah, why would you lie to me? Now, granted, it wasn't an owner driver; it was a driver for an owner. Two different things.
Well, yeah, no, and I'm with you. The owner is usually fine with being tracked.
Yes, because they know
'Cause
it's their business. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm just gonna.
yeah.
I know it's awkward. Everybody else is tracked.
Well,
If you work in an office, you can't even go pee. And somebody's like, "Hey, your keyboard stopped. What's going on?" It's true.
yeah,
Well, even
So-
from the driver's perspective, though, like if you're, you have a 9-car hauler, and 3 of those are Sue's, but 3 of those might belong to Jay, and 3 might belong to Eric. Sometimes giving you my location isn't always best for me, because you might see me somewhere
other place.
that you don't think I should be, and so
right.
Well, this
it's
is
nice to have, but does it actually solve the problem? Does it actually lead to more messages being sent as opposed to less, right? So in addition to that, like the the tracking time, I've worked with a couple of different apps in our industry where yes, they're sharing the location, but the last update was 8 hours ago. So what
Right.
do I do with that information? Which leads me to reach out to the driver, increasing the volume of messages sent. So the way I really think
So
about
true.
it,
Yep.
how do we facilitate these movements in the least amount of communications as possible? That's kind of the ratio that I think, so that, a SUE could manage 25 drivers with the same amount of messages needed.
Right.
And if I may, often we'll get requests like this. They'll say, well, yes, normally the driver will track by the app. Great, keep doing that. I got no problem with that. But in the case that they stop tracking or they refuse tracking, you can have logic in Vendorflow that integrates with TMS to say, okay, fire a tracking request to the driver for text. And it looks like this, if you can see a little bit. But the driver just gets this little experience. They tap it and bang, shares the GPS back to you, which we could push back into a super dispatcher or TMS like that. That's where we tend to fit in.
Well, and John put in the live chat talking about this information going through the office. I'm going to agree that the office should be able to be a buffer between a broker and a driver when it comes to GPS tracking.
Sure.
Because not everybody can be trusted with what they think they're seeing. And I agree. I've seen updated 8 hours ago, and it's a different state. And I didn't like that either. It made me want to find out where the driver was, which, if it was updated 8 hours ago, feels like I'm not going to get updated. And how much detail do you know? Need to know? David, maybe you'll be working on this problem too. Like, wouldn't it be based on situation? If I picked up at a dealer today and I'm supposed to deliver to the dealer today, then maybe I need, I get within 100 feet of where the guy is. But if he's traveling across country, I just want to know what state he's in.
Right.
Right?
But he's on track at least.
Yeah. I don't need to know. Yeah.
I don't need
right,
no specifics either.
I'm going
I
to get
just always
wound up
wanna
in
know
my.
if it's still
I thought you were going to
today
do
or
the
something
dry
like
cleaning
that.
before you did the dishwasher. Now you're at the plumber. Stupid.
Yeah, and we felt this a lot of room, where even if you have access to these applications, you say, okay, the driver's in, Texas and he's coming to Phoenix, Arizona or somewhere. It still leads to confusion. I think that's the tricky part. And the way I look at it is what makes it easiest for the drivers to communicate, and what makes it easiest for the dispatch teams to manage those communications. I think there's a third component that you guys made me realize, which is, the external communications, external stakeholders, like what allows you to pass that information along to other folks. It could be HR, payroll, safety teams, it could be the shipper, it could be anybody. And so that's another component or another pain point I think that is could be felt, but maybe we don't understand, the impact as well.
I was just checking my screens. Well, I think that, no matter what, there's so many real-time use cases that working on this and having as gotten as far as you have with the hub you already have, this is great. It's not going away. Yeah, you know what? We won't need communications in 6 months. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's been a ton of fun building it, and all the enhancements are from customer requests. And usually it's not rocket science. Usually it's pretty straightforward. Just, okay, enhance this, enhance that. Just listen to the customers. Really satisfying to take that kind of approach. But I don't know if it's too much spice for the ATI, but I'll give one quick story of a special feature request where we onboard a customer and they're live for maybe a week. And they give me a call. Usually people just text or email me. They call me. It's okay. Happy to take the call. And they say, hey, we have something pretty urgent. We got a spicy photo from a guy. He was very upset about the rate, and he sent in an inappropriate photo. Can you add a feature to hide or eliminate this from our lives, please? And thankfully, I didn't have to jump on it. My engineering team had to, but they had to get in there and deliver that feature in the same day, because we understood the dispatch.
It's like Discord again.
Yeah.
This is right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can add whatever will get added.
Oh yeah, that's right. So yeah, flag and report was definitely a feature request from real life. That's for sure. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Probably why Google reviews sticks to text.
Sure. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. For the best. Probably for the best. That's right. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Wonder if that's where we're headed. In the Fifth Element, they will have images and reviews. I said the Fifth Element. You know, Tuesday night we were talking about AI, and then we started to talk about like skin units and robots and stuff, and Blade Runner comes up. Meaning, robots with skin that then start to look like humans. It's not even a concept. I saw recently there was a post. There was like these, female humanoid robots. And they look pretty real. It's 2024. Now, that's not all the robots we need. Amazon warehouses, I don't think, need female humanoid robots. But what we're heading with the robot, you got the robot dog. That doesn't exactly look like a dog, but it kind of looks like a dog. You got that Terminator looking dude that can jump around and do flips and has a siren on his head. That'll be fun. So, the future's coming fast. And in this arena, it's great to see. You got to feel good about this. You probably have some competitors, right? But you seem focused on. Are you focused on the trucking space?
Very.
Are there other? Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we've kind of narrowed our focus over the last few years. But fleets. That's our focus. But we have sold to automotive brokers. That tends to fit pretty well with us as well. But yeah, for now we're plenty busy here. So why would we spread ourselves thin needlessly? So
I got a company after Thanksgiving in November. I'm gonna have a company on it's called Drive, but it looks like Dreyev. DREYEV.com.
I had somebody contact me from there.
Well, it could. I don't.
That's weird. Okay.
That is weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about you.
Yeah, that's
I was
weird.
texting about you. Okay. So, this company focuses on. This is going to really drive carriers crazy, but it's too late. I mean, the cat's out of the box. It started with ELD, and it's only going to make people matter, and that is that this is in-cab that's not surveillance, but it's driver monitoring, driver safety, remember that video where they woke him up because he leaned over?
Yeah.
It's all of that and a bag of chips.
Yeah.
And it also gets into like when you watch the Tesla stuff and you're looking at the windshield and everybody's a square and numbers and all this stuff, they're doing that too. So, and the guy's like some genius from IBM. Like this, we're gonna do a show. It's gonna be crazy, and we're gonna talk about it because this stuff's coming too. Yeah. If you're a fleet manager, you want all this stuff. And here's what they've added on top. Here's the icing on the cake. Yeah. Drivers, you want this too, because as soon as you end up in a courtroom and you can prove that you're not the problem, you will love us.
Yeah.
Love us. Yeah. So it's also that too. So we're going to have, it's the technology and the insurance, and we're going to have a conversation on a Tuesday night. It's going to be crazy.
I will check that out. That's super interesting. And of course, the driver adoption, how they react. And I mean, my question for them would be, how do you build trust with drivers that they're being, for lack of a better word, appropriately monitored and not monitored beyond what they would trust? That's a really interesting question. I am familiar with fleets who have tried to implement it, but a lot of drivers will push back, and super interesting topic. So I enjoy that quite a lot. Also, if they whip their phone out,
right, the thing goes nuts, right?
Yeah,
put the phone down. Put the phone down. Welcome to corporate America.
That's it.
Yeah. Think you can do that, right? Can you do that in the office? To get your phone. What do you do? Your boss calls you. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Suddenly. Right.
But that's. Offices have that problem already. They're over-monitored. Why did you look at the wall?
No, I know. Right? Let's check what that little hole is. I'm not sure. No, maybe Vendorflow's final version will be that kind of orangish, reddish eye from, was it Space Odyssey 2001, something like that?
There you go, Hal. There you go. Another one. So I'm telling you, these sci-fi movies, it's all happening. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Well, this was really a great conversation, guys. So I'm gonna let you go. keep me posted. I hope that this show's helpful. I'll be in the description putting in time codes here in the next few days. The podcast will come out. And hopefully ATI has provided you with some helpful content and clips. Feel free to share, do whatever you want. This is Auto Transport. You do whatever you want. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. This was great. Good job, David. David put this together.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
Thank you all. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
See you
All
soon.
right, see you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
You guys.
And in the waiting room they go. Okay, good. Meaning like that was cool. Yeah, Jonathan says Vendorflow rocks. What's cool, and this is the goal, camera one. The goal of these shows, yeah, I'm having fun. I'm doing what I do. This is the only thing I'm really good at is operating equipment while live and talking crazy. But within that, I think we learned a lot. I learned a lot. And I would certainly talk to Vendorflow. If I was a fleet trying to figure out, because fleets are having this problem. Shoot, individuals are having this problem. I would definitely talk to Vendorflow, get a demo, ask questions, share use cases. And my goal, my hope is that, they get a lead out of this show, get a client out of this show, and then Eric can buy steak for everybody.
Sure. I want steak.
Eric's like, Ixnay on the Ixday, Jay. Okay, so, next week,
Yes.
we made it. It's 1:30. Can you believe we do 90-minute shows? That's crazy.
We used to do some that were even longer, so
Nuts. Yeah, right. I had to draw the line. Next Thursday we have Auto Transport. Okay, so it's software. You remember Aaron Korf from ClearPath?
yes.
He's going to come back, and I want to try to pull his ear on this. So here, make your notes. Let's say, how I say to a company, hey, you keep sending me emails of loads. Can you get a load board?
Sorry, but my customer went and picked up.
I'll say it again because I know you're working. I'll say, I see this email. And they get, here's the loads of the day. I'm like, make a load board.
Right.
273.
Aaron can help do that. That's what he does. So Aaron and ClearPath TMS. Now, when I tried to pin Aaron down on it, he's like, well, don't say I'm a load board software expert. But that's essentially what he is.
Right.
70.
Among other things. So any company that is sending out emails with spreadsheets and Excel sheets and like dispatchers like, what is this crap? And you need to create a load board,
Hello?
Aaron is your solution. That's what ClearPath TMS can do for companies.
Yeah,
Among
I can
other
think
things.
of a few companies that.
I know. Tell them to tune in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I put up with your spammy emails. Here, I'm drafting the email. I put up with your spammy emails. Tune into this show and learn how to get a freaking
send me
load
something
board.
else and they can pick that up instead.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
the thing is, it's not just something nifty to have.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
check this out.
All right.
You want some more verification?
Oh, okay.
What did Janice say?
Oh, she's on the phone.
I'm just kidding. Okay, so what did Janice call me? So Carvana is built on ClearPath TMS.
I know.
Carvana is built on ClearPath TMS. That's the juice this guy brings. So next Thursday we're going to talk about auto transport load boards and how to get one. Get your own load board. Maybe that'd be a great name for the show. Get your own load board. Get your own load board.
Also, I have a note for anybody that does Bordentown, New Jersey, Manheim.
What is it?
They are
Bordentown.
restructuring the facility.
I'll change it out.
And we've been having problems picking up a vehicle there because they've created a commercial department and a regular department, and you can't pick up cars for the commercial department because they won't let you. So just
How
so
do you
y'all
get their
know,
cars?
No,
yeah.
found out there was
You
another.
don't?
So that they've separated the lots completely. Now I know this is what's weird. I swear to you, they started doing this years ago. I remember there being two lots in Bordentown. maybe there was and they didn't make it like this, but this is official now or something. So just anybody that does that New Jersey run, just so you know.
So if you're gonna haul a commercial vehicle, which
Gonna-
it doesn't say it on the dispatch, it's gonna be a no.
No, yeah. How are you supposed to know? Yeah.
So then you get there and then they say you can't pick this up.
Right. That I've sent 2 drivers there
Well, then
to
what's
pick up
the
this
point?
vehicle, and every time
Does
we
the-
call Manheim to make sure it's there, they're like, "Yeah, it's here in this lot." Da 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 da.
It's here.
Ready to go.
Right.
Yeah, ready to go.
But the vehicle now lives there.
Yeah, it's never leaving apparently.
It's never leaving.
So.
Hotel California. Thank you for that. Always sharing the news. That's what we do here. All right, we're at the end. We know what next week's show is. We know it's Halloween,
No, that's what.
right? Get your costumes ready.
So.
I think Dan is going to dress up as Yoda.
Oh yeah.
No. Elena is going to
Well, that's in
dress
2
up
weeks, right?
as
We
a
got 2 weeks.
necromancer.
Whatever. What day is it? Okay.
Janice
What
We
if?
got 3 weeks.
is going to be Cinderella.
I love you, Jay. You hear that, Sue?
That's not the costume she has, just so everybody knows. It's ITCH, and it doesn't start with a W.
So get your costumes fired up, send in your photos, and vote for. We're going to play, is that a broker? Is it a carrier? Is it a dispatcher? Or is it a dealer?
And I am dressing up, but I'm not telling Jay what it is because I want him to laugh his ass off. So,
And it rhymes with it.
shush. No, that's not. That's Janice.
Right? That's Janice.
Anyway,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I don't know what I'm doing
Yeah, and if
yet,
you
but I'll
dress
figure
up, send your
something out.
pics.
Yeah, send
That'd be
in your
awesome.
pics.
We'll
That would
put
be
'em on.
cool. Even if it's the day of. 'Cause
Yeah.
As we're telling, Thursday is Halloween.
So then we could still add them to the, is it a dispatcher or a shipper?
Exactly. You can
Or a
be
video.
added.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Dan
For
is
3
sending in
weeks.
his costume right
Right.
now.
Just
Yeah,
like-
Moosey. We want everybody. Yeah, send us a photo.
Selena,
Yeah,
yes, dress up.
that'd be great. Even if you're just putting a hat on,
I have either one.
whatever it is. So we'll remind everybody
Do you
again
want
about
me to
that
text it
next
to
week because Halloween's in 2 weeks. Is that right?
3.
Oh my gosh.
3 weeks.
Or it's 3?
I'll do it right now.
Really?
3. Well,
17?
that's what
okay.
it says.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Because
Well,
we're gonna have
3.
Mark on in 2 weeks.
Yes. Correct.
Why should you watch ATI?
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. Okay, cool. All right, this is gonna be great. So on that note, I'm not running the car hauler. That's Tuesday nights. Are we done? We got any more news? We're
No,
good?
I think we're good right now.
All right, cool. Well, listen, great job.
443 3965.
And
That's
enjoy
fun.
the exactly. It's open ended. And enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
All right, what do we say, office?
Goodbye, Sue.
Goodbye, Sue. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
Take care. See you. Bye.